Disgruntled SA Express workers are marching to the Department of Public Enterprises tomorrow. They're calling for the government to intervene and pay their workers their salaries. The airline is currently under provisional liquidation and employees haven't been paid since the end of February. Let's talk about some of their grievances. Michael Hlatswayo is representing the workers. Michael, good evening. Firstly, it seems that the workers of SA Express have embarked on this process largely outside of the union structures that they have. Explain what exactly has happened here and why.
Well, we have found ourselves out in the cold. The unions have not been addressing us. The unions have been talking only about SAA when addressing issues. They have been ignoring SA Express and the employees at SA Express. That's why we actually decided that we will take this road on our own.
And what does that mean going forward? What have you as workers decided to do? How are you going to approach this issue?
What we have decided to do is that we shall request that the unions recuse themselves from representing us, and then we shall have ourselves representing ourselves. Because it looks like the unions are not at all interested in our issues. Because as you might have listened to many of them speaking on our behalf on TV and other different media, but they have been doing that without consulting us. They've had no mandate at all from us. So the unions have actually disappointed us a great deal in this past few months.
Let's talk a little bit about what it is that you mean when you say that they've been representing you without a mandate. So perhaps just a couple of examples of the times that unions have come forward and said things on behalf of workers which simply weren't true, as you're saying.
Well, what I mean is that if you understand the functioning of unions, you would know that any union, before it approaches the employer or any party that it has to engage with on behalf of the workers, it is obliged, that union, to first engage the workers or its members. And in so doing, they would be able to then establish what we call a mandate. But in our case, the unions have been going on and on and on and on, but we have been left in the dark, and we have not been even heard at all. So that has been frustrating to us.
So when was the last time the unions did consult with SA Express workers?
It's been months, I must tell you the truth. It's been months that unions have spoken to us, but I cannot really speak for all other unions. I can specifically speak for my union because in my case I'm a member of NTM, and NTM has not been speaking to us for a very long time as the union members. We hear that the president of NTM has been going on TV and other media platforms claiming that he has been speaking to us. I'm one of their shop stewards, but they have not spoken to us until I actually have decided to resign as a shop steward from NTM.
All right, let's talk about this process now. You were protesting at the union buildings last week. You're taking the protest now to the Public Enterprises Department. What are you hoping you'll achieve?
Well, what we're hoping to achieve, number one, because there's a number of issues that we actually have. Number one, we hope that the government will actually consider to pay us our salaries that are due to us. And secondly, we know that, I think it has been reported that SA Express has not been paying the third-party service providers. That would be the UIF, that would be the Provident Fund and Pension Fund. And that money is actually owed to the workers. That's number two. We hope that money is going to be paid. And number three, we want to be treated like SAA. SAA has been offered the retrenchment packages by the DPE, but they are not talking about that when it comes to SA Express. We're actually saying that it's not fair that other SOEs are treated much better than the others, you know. So we want to be treated the same. And fourthly, we are saying that there's a talk of a new airline. And that talk of a new airline involves everybody else in the government aviation group, but it excludes SA Express. We are saying that we demand to have representation in that committee or task team that has been set up, because currently as we speak to you, we are not represented in that group, so that our employees or our colleagues would also have a fair opportunity for employment in that new airline that is being talked about.
So your interests basically, you feel, have been completely disregarded. Speak to us about the experience of workers who have gone 3 months now without any kind of salary. I know that there was payment from the UIF, a once-off payment, I believe, from the TAS fund, but how have people been surviving?
You know, our interests have been completely and utterly ignored. If you might be following the news, you notice that the unions, including the Department of Public Enterprises, whenever they would come on air, they would speak about SAA, and they would disregard SA Express altogether. And in terms of our people's survival, what we had to do, we were forced that we needed to form a group and then go with a cap in hand and request for help out there. And as a result, we have been getting food parcels and trying to give to our fellow employees who could not be able to buy food for themselves. We have been getting from Good Samaritans out there, we've been getting vouchers that have been enabling us to actually get our people to pay electricity. And there have been a few other political parties and other formations that have taken interest in our issue, and they are seriously helping us to try and push forward our issue. But the most important thing that we have a problem with, and we hope that the public will hear us out there, is to actually get a legal voice, because we feel that we need a legal representation, and it costs us money, and we don't have money. If we could get assistance, there is a campaign that we're busy with right now. If people could go on, unfortunately I do not have details right now, but we do have, if they could look at Twitter, they could look at Facebook, they would see that we have a campaign that we're pushing in trying to raise funds for the legal fees, because we feel that there's more into this than it meets the eye.